Hello, welcome to the first in a series of short training videos for the HCSS Heavy Job mobile app. In this video, we're going to explore the app itself, launching the app, moving around on the main screen. So once you have the app installed, the icon for HCSS Mobile is a small blue hard hat. You'll tap on the icon to launch the app, and you'll open to what we call the main screen. Now, the first thing you notice if you've used the HCSS Heavy Job app before, the main screen looks a little different. It also acts a little different. In today's version of the mobile app, we can rearrange the icons and put them in any order that we like. The top row I would consider your daily activities, and you can rearrange those and put those in any order. You can also drag other icons up or down and arrange them where you like. To change an icon, for example, let's say that we want to put the production planner, if you have access to the production planner, maybe you want to add that to your top row. So a long tap on the production planner icon, drag it up to the top row, and you actually have to move one of the other icons to let it know that you're in that top row. If you just drag it down and don't touch one of the other icons, it's not going to stick there. It's going to stay only once you've drug it down, moved another icon, and then let it go. So with that in mind, you can rearrange these icons. Some of you will see different icons than what I have here depending on your subscription level. Some locations don't have all of the safety activated. Some have more than others, but the principle is the same no matter how many icons you see on your main screen. I will leave the main row that I have up there for now. I have a diary, a time card, and photos. The other things we want to look at on this first video are all on the settings tab or settings screen. The little blue gear in the top right corner, if you tap on that, it will take you to the settings screen, and we'll just walk down through the options that you have on this screen. The first option says log out, and it's got your username, and you normally won't have to log out of the app, but if you are having issues with the app and if it's not behaving as expected, sometimes that seems to correct things. Just log out of the app and log back in. So when you get your username and password sent from HCSS, make sure you save that someplace in case you ever do need to log back into the app. The second option on this settings screen is refresh user settings. This can be done at any time, and basically this just goes up to your subscription content in the cloud and it refreshes everything from that subscription. The parts of the app that you have access to, your username, and your default business unit all get refreshed when you tap on refresh user settings. And it just works in the background, and once it completes, it sends you back to the main screen, and at that point you can feel pretty comfortable that all of your user settings have been refreshed. If you go back to settings, your user code, your heavy job code, your default business unit, all of that will have been refreshed. There's an option, the third option down, is to change your password. If you elect to change your password, just tap on that. It will take you to the HCSS app's credentials site, and you will have to enter your current password and then enter your new desired password 2 times correctly in order to change your password. You do want to look on this screen at your current heavy job employee code. Make sure that's you. We do a pretty good job of getting that code assigned to the correct person in each business unit, but every once in a while we have seen where the setup folks get that wrong, and they've got either your ZZ employee code or another employee that has a similar name. So just check that, make sure that's you. The last item on there that you can control is select business unit. Now with the HCSS mobile app, you can go anywhere within the company that we are using the mobile app. I have a test environment on mine, but if you tap on select business unit, you're going to see a very large list of all the different locations where we have mobile app running, and you can select any of those business units and you would be set up, as far as the app is concerned, to start creating time cards and diaries for that new business unit. Now, you still have to contact somebody in the manager side to get you set up in that location as an employee or as a foreman. And if you're taking a piece of equipment, they have to move the equipment to that new business unit. But it's relatively simple to move between business units. And a lot of us today are doing just that. We move back and forth between business units, and the app is ready to help us do that. Under preferences, you see a preference for job display. If you tap on that, there are two ways to display your job list: display by job code or display by name. I think everybody is used to the display by job code, but it's your option. You can select either one. Data updating is another user preference that you have. The app is automatically going to update data based on this selection. So you have three choices here: automatically update my data every 4 hours, automatically every 8 hours, or never perform automatic update. And it all depends on how often you open the app as to which one will work best for you. Automatically update every 4 hours means that if you opened the app at 8 a.m. and then you got out of it and you came back at 1 p.m., it would automatically start updating because it's been more than 4 hours. If you had it set to 8 hours, you could open the app at 8, open it several times between 8 and 4 p.m., and then anytime you opened it after 4 p.m., it would automatically do an update. Never perform automatic updates is not truly never. It's going to prompt you every 24 hours. If you haven't updated your data, it will prompt you to update the data, but you always will have the choice yes or no when you get that prompt. So, like I said, it depends on how often you open and close the app. You can experiment with all three of those settings and see which one works best for you. The transmission queue shows two lists. One is any pending transmission. The other is any completed transmission. Pending transmissions are only going to show if you've sent a time card or diary and there was a problem with that transmission and it did not go through. Maybe you didn't have an internet connection or something like that, and you would see that listed in the pending transmissions. Completed transmissions show each time that you've sent in transmissions, and these are all showing as successful. So this is really just a list of all the days that you've sent in a time card, sent in a diary, sent in a photo. Not much you can do from this other than refresh it to make sure that you're seeing any pending transactions, or tap back to go back to the settings screen. Database utilities is another one that you probably won't need to use very often. The upper section where you back up and restore the database, this is typically used when you're having an issue with the mobile app and you've contacted HCSS, and their preferred method to solve the issue for you is for you to back up your data. It automatically goes to their cloud. They will ask you for the restore code that you get when you complete the backup, and they can actually fix or correct issues with your data, send it back to you, and you can restore it with the corrected version. So if you back up your data, be sure you write down that restore code, and you will have to send that restore code to HCSS along with your username and password so that they can troubleshoot your system. Doesn't happen very often, but we have had a few occasions to use that. Below that, on the database maintenance, how many days worth of data should we keep during a cleanup? So we're going to look at cleanup database at the very bottom, but when you do that, you get to choose. And if you tap on that, you get 45 days worth, 90 days worth, or 180 days worth of data. Most of the iPads that we have out there today have ample storage capacity. These are very small files for the time cards and diaries. Unless you're having an issue with storage space on your iPad, I would just leave it set to the 180 days. There's a button that says resend inspection data. Don't believe anybody will need to use that, but if you had inspections that did not make it to the office, you could use the resend inspection data option. Below that is erase all sent transactions. Now the app is going to keep all of your sent transactions for the period of time you designate, but if you needed space, you could erase all sent transactions. It tells you here what your database size is, and then the last option says clean up database, and if you tap on that, it's going to remove any transactions older than the number of days you have selected above, and you can clean up your database at any time. Below the utilities are two more items of interest. The first item is the about, the version. If you tap on that, it's going to show you which version of the mobile app you have currently running, and these updates for Heavy Job Mobile come out 3 or 4 times a year, so it's really up to you to keep current. Check the App Store periodically, make sure you have the latest version. But in this screen, you also see what was changed in the last release. So you can read through that and see all of the different changes that they've done in your current version. When the next version comes out, you'll want to update through the App Store. It's helpful to come here and see what they've changed, so you can look for it, and if it's some kind of enhancement, you'll already know that it's there. Finally, at the very bottom, suggestions. There's an option here. If you have suggestions to improve the app, make things work better, you can tap on that, and you can actually fill out this form. Just type in your suggestion and hit send, and it will go to the development team, and they track these suggestions. You know, if they get enough people making the same suggestion, they'll decide that's worthwhile, and they'll go to work to make those changes. That's it on the settings screen. We'll go back to the main screen. There are 2 other things we want to look at in this video. The first is the history. There used to be a button that actually said history. In this new version, you just tap on the calendar and it brings up the calendar view of history. Now this view is going to show you a calendar, everything that's been sent in, and it will show time cards, photos, diaries, inspections, etc. that have been sent in. You can move backwards a month, another month, and you can see I used my mobile app sparingly for demonstration, so I don't have a time card and a diary every single day like a lot of you will. But you can look at the history of what's been sent, and from this screen you can actually tap on any of those icons and go to that item. So if I wanted to see the time card that was sent on April 21st, I would just tap on that and it would take me to April 21st. There's my time card. If I tap on the time card, I can see the completed time card. Back to the main menu, one more thing on the history. A better view, in my opinion, is the list view, and you can just see in this list view, you can filter it to sent, not sent. So if I change this to all, I'll see all items that have been sent or are pending, and I can filter to diary, photo, time card, meeting, or inspection. So I can really clean this up, and I can also filter to a day. If I need to go to an actual date, it takes me back to that calendar. So that's the history option on the mobile app. Finally, in the bottom right corner, there is an option that says send all transactions. As you work through creating these individual transactions, the diary, the time card, photos, if you don't send them immediately when you complete them and you come back to this main screen, you will start to develop a running list of unsent items in this lower right corner. And you can just tap on the option that says send all transactions to send everything at one time. That's actually not a bad practice. We'll talk about that as we go through the diary and the time card, that you may want to hold off on the send until you're completely done and then send from this main screen. Now, don't forget, I've changed my calendar date, so before I start any new transactions, I want to go back to today. So I'm going to go back to today, and that concludes this first video.